Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another instant deck tech. And do we have a sweet one today? This is a really unique new take on Aetherworks Marvel, and I'm super excited to talk about it. This is Jund Aetherworks recently took Paulo Co to a top 8 finish at SCG Regionals, so congrats to Apollo on their finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break it all down. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So we've seen Aetherworks Marvel decks in the past. They were really popular at the Pro Tour, and the way we saw these decks built were pretty much all in energy combo decks. You're playing all these energy producers on the early turns of the game, and then you're hoping on turn 4 to play Aetherworks Marvel, pay the 6 energy, tap it, and get an Emrakul, get an Ulamog, and just win the game. So those decks are super powerful when they work right, but they're also really inconsistent. You got to play a ton of really bad cards, like a bunch of puzzle knots and these weird bad energy producers to get enough energy on turn 4, and then if your opponent just counters your Aetherworks Marvel, you're stuck playing like horrible cards that can't win the game. So those decks are really all in. But the unique thing about this deck is it's basically a mid-range deck that's using Aetherworks Marvel for value. Yes, it can sometimes, occasionally, just win you the game, but a lot of times you're just using this to cheat on some mana, play some good things at instant speed, which makes this deck really cool and really unique. So you got the Aetherworks Marvel. We have a lot of the typical energy production, not as much as the all-in decks. We get the Wood Reaver's Puzzle Knot, which gains a bit of life, makes a bit of energy, but we're not all in on bad energy producing cards. I would say that Wood Reaver's Puzzle Knot is the only real bad card in the deck that's there just because it makes a lot of energy, and it by itself, you cast it, you can sack it for 3 more energy, so it makes a 6 energy all by itself. We also have Aether Hub, a standard staple at this point, Harness Lightning, one of the best removal spells in Standard, which just so happened to produce energy. And then we have Demon of Dark Schemes, which is a card that hasn't seen any play so far. A big 5/5 flyer for 6 mana. When it enters the battlefield, it gives everything -2/-2 until end of turn. And then whenever another creature dies, you get an energy. And then you can reanimate things by paying 4 energy and 2 and a black. And you get that creature from either graveyard. So it produces energy, also another energy payoff. So this deck kind of uses Demon of Dark Schemes with a bunch of removal to produce energy. So you cast a Kozilek's Return, wipe away a bunch of creatures, you have a demon on the battlefield, you gain a bunch of energy, use that to fuel your Aetherworks Marvel. Ruinous Path gets a creature or planeswalker. If you kill a creature, you get energy, fuels your Aetherworks Marvel. And then Noxious Ghoul is kind of one of the key cards in the deck because it really shows what the deck is trying to do. It can kill a creature to make energy with the demon. It also kind of transitions us into the second part of the deck, things that we want to hit off Aetherworks Marvel. So obviously Noxious Gearhulk isn't Emrakul, isn't Ulamog, but it's still at instant speed for free off an Aetherworks Marvel can be a pretty big blow. You kill a creature with its Enter the Battlefield ability, you block another creature, get a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1. We have some big payoff cards, a couple of Ulamogs, a couple of World Breakers, but it's not the 4 Emrakul, 4 Ulamog, all in on that. Sometimes you're going to randomly get an Ulamog. You can also just ramp into an Ulamog and cast it naturally if the game goes really long. World Breaker can kill artifacts, which is key against Sky Sovereign. Also has reach randomly, so it blocks Smuggler's Copter. And then the deck just plays like a good Jund mid-range deck. You got Kalidas, you got Sylvan Advocate, you got Catacomb Sifter. So instead of playing all these bad cards to make your energy payoff work, you're playing a lot of good cards and just incidentally, sometimes, a couple of times per game, using your Aetherworks Marvel to get a ton of value. Maybe you hit a huge Eldrazi, but often you're going to get a Gearhulk or a Kalidas or a removal spell, which is still really solid and a huge swing in the game. As far as the mana base, we get a bunch of dual lands, including 4 Hissing Quagmires, and then a bunch of basic lands to go with our Evolving Wilds. In the sideboard, We get a bunch more removal. Collective Brutality kind of does it all. Can be a duress, can be a removal spell. Grasp, great in the early game. To the Slaughter, another way to deal with Planeswalkers. We get some more creatures. Tireless Tracker, good in grindy matchups. Green Warden and Worldbreaker are additional Aetherworks Marvel targets. And then you have some discard in Transgress the Mind, Seasons Pass to get a bunch of stuff back from the graveyard. Almost a transformational sideboard plan where you can actually take out all of your Aetherworks Marvels, get rid of maybe your Ulamogs, which are too expensive, and play like just a good Jund mid-range deck that's grinding out value, playing good removal, good creatures, Seasons Past, and then even some more Planeswalkers like Liliana and Nissa, so you can get rid of the entire energy package and bring in all good cards if that's what the matchup calls for. So that is Jund Aetherworks for Standard, and that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.